Hello guys. Welcome to the story world. We are to serve you best stories, but we need your help to complete our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So find the subscribe button and please click on it. Let's jumping into story. The sun hung low in the sky as the group sat huddled beneath the rocky outcrop, fatigue pulling at their every movement. The horrors of the previous day clung to them like a second skin: the abandoned backpack, the bloodstained notebook, and the nightmare clearing littered with bones. None of them spoke for a long time, as if words would make their grim reality more permanent. Ryan sat apart from the group, staring at the jungle beyond the ravine. His mind kept replaying the sound of the clicking, the deliberate, rhythmic sound that seemed less like an animal noise and more like communication. Whatever hunted them wasn't just a beast. It was something else entirely, something intelligent, something that understood fear and how to wield it. Lucas was the first to break the silence. "Tomorrow," he said firmly, "we go higher. If we can reach one of those ridges we saw from the yacht, we'll have a better view of the island. Maybe we'll see the other side, maybe even a ship passing by." Jake let out a sharp laugh, hollow and bitter. "Or maybe we'll just see more jungle, more bones, and more ways to die." Emily shot him a glare. "Stop it, Jake. We need hope. If you don't have any, keep it to yourself." Sarah wrapped her arms around herself, voice trembling. "We don't even know what this thing wants. Why didn't it kill us last night? Why just watch us?" Noah finally spoke, his voice low. "Predators stalk their prey before they attack. Some of them play with it first." That thought sent a shiver through the group, silencing any further conversation. Sleep came fitfully, haunted by the memory of glowing eyes and bone chimes swinging in the jungle breeze. By mid-morning, they set out toward the high ridge Lucas had spotted on the yacht before their fuel disaster had set them adrift. The climb wasn't easy. The terrain turned steep quickly, and the jungle seemed almost to fight them, thick vines snagging their clothes, roots rising like traps underfoot. The humidity pressed down on them, making every breath feel heavier than the last. Ryan led part of the way with Lucas, scanning the undergrowth constantly. Every snapped twig made his stomach clench, expecting that hideous clicking sound to begin again. "Feels like it's watching us," Mia whispered at one point, her voice barely audible over the rustling leaves. "It is," Ryan said without hesitation. "I can feel it too." They moved carefully, pausing often to listen. Once, far below, they heard a distant scream echo through the jungle. Not human, not quite animal, a guttural sound that faded into an unnatural silence. Nobody dared guess what made it. Hours passed before they reached a rocky ledge halfway up the ridge, where they stopped to rest. From this vantage point, they could finally see more of the island beyond the thick canopy. It stretched for miles, an endless sea of green, broken only by jagged cliffs, hidden valleys, and a distant, dark lagoon. But what chilled them most was what lay further inland, a clearing unlike any other they'd seen so far. From this height, it looked almost deliberate, circular, with strange patterns carved into the earth that even distance couldn't blur. Lucas squinted. "What the hell is that? Looks man-made. Or made by whatever's been hunting here for God knows how long," Ryan said grimly. Emily rubbed her arms as if suddenly cold. "I don't want to go near that place." "We might not have a choice," Lucas replied. "If that's where it nests or where other people tried to build shelter, we might find tools, supplies, anything we can use." They continued their climb, hearts pounding with the weight of that possibility. By late afternoon, they reached the top of the ridge, where the jungle gave way to a rocky plateau. And there, partially collapsed and overgrown with moss, stood the remains of what had once been a camp, or maybe even a small research station. It wasn't just tents or makeshift shelters. Rusted metal poles jutted from the ground, forming the skeleton of what had once been a structure. Weathered crates lay scattered, some broken open, revealing scraps of old equipment, flashlights long dead, cans of food torn apart by claws or time, a shattered radio transmitter half buried in dirt. Lucas dropped to his knees near the radio, frantically digging it out. "If this works, if we can fix it?" "It's trashed," Noah said, examining the corroded wires. "Even if it wasn't, we don't have a power source." Ryan crouched by another crate, pulling out something stranger. Long metal spikes, sharpened to a point, stained dark brown. Some kind of improvised weapons. Nearby lay a journal, waterlogged but more intact than the one they'd found before. The first page still bore a name, Dr. Henry Calloway. Ryan flipped carefully through the smeared pages. Most of the writing was illegible, but a few entries stood out. Day 14. The creature doesn't hunt like a normal predator. It studies us, watches us even when we think we're safe. Fire keeps it at bay, but only briefly. It's getting bolder every night. Day 22. We've lost 3 more. The thing doesn't just kill, it drags the bodies away. We've followed the tracks but can't get close. It sets traps, like it knows what we'll do next. This thing is thinking, planning. Day 30. If you find this, there's no way off. The island doesn't let you leave. It doesn't want you to leave. Ryan closed the journal, his hands trembling. The words felt like a death sentence. This has been happening for years, he whispered. People come here, get stuck, and this thing hunts them until there's nothing left. Emily backed away, shaking her head. No, we're not dying here. We can't. Lucas straightened, jaw tight. We won't. We use whatever we can from this place. Metal spikes, tools, whatever's left, and we figure out a way to fight back. Jake gave him a wild, desperate look. Fight that thing? Did you see what it did to the last group? Then what? Ryan snapped, frustration boiling over. We wait here to be slaughtered in our sleep? We've got nothing else. Either we fight or we die running. The argument died as a sound cut through the air, a clicking, louder than they'd ever heard before, echoing across the ridge. Everyone froze. The clicking wasn't distant this time. It was close. The group spun toward the tree line on the edge of the plateau just as the creature stepped into view. For the first time, they saw it fully in daylight, and wished they hadn't. It was taller than any man, its gaunt body stretched unnaturally thin, bones protruding beneath taut, pale flesh. Its limbs were long and crooked, each ending in talons that clicked against the rock as it walked. Its head was elongated, almost skull-like, with no nose, just a gaping maw lined with jagged teeth. And its eyes, huge, glowing like molten amber, locked onto them with unmistakable intelligence. It let out a low, guttural sound, a cross between a growl and a hiss, reverberating through the plateau. The group instinctively backed away, clutching the crude weapons they'd scavenged. Lucas stepped forward, holding one of the metal spikes like a spear. Stay back, he shouted, though his voice shook. The creature tilted its head, clicking faster now, a strange rhythm that felt like words in a language no human could understand. Then, with terrifying speed, it dropped to all fours and lunged. Screams erupted as the group scattered. Ryan grabbed Mia's arm, pulling her toward the ruined structure. The creature skidded across the rocks, claws screeching, before whipping around with unnatural agility. Lucas jabbed his spike, barely keeping it at bay as it slashed toward him. Its movements were deliberate, calculated, not wild, not mindless. It was testing them, seeing how they reacted, just as the journal had said. Run! Lucas shouted, barely dodging another strike. They bolted for the tree line on the far side of the plateau, stumbling over rocks, hearts pounding with pure animal terror. Behind them, the creature didn't give chase immediately. Instead, it let out a chilling, guttural clicking noise, almost like a laugh, before melting back into the shadows of the ridge. The message was clear. It could have killed them, but it didn't. It was playing with them. They didn't stop running until they were deep in the jungle again, lungs burning, bodies aching. When they finally collapsed in a small clearing, every face was pale with fear and exhaustion. What the hell was that? Emily gasped, voice breaking. It wasn't hunting for food, Noah said shakily. It was toying with us. It wanted to see what we'd do. Ryan looked at the journal still clutched in his hand, the final entry echoing in his mind. The island doesn't let you leave. He glanced at the others, their eyes wide and desperate. That thing isn't just a predator, he said quietly. It's smarter than we are. No one replied. The silence that followed was heavier than before, crushing any last illusions they'd had about surviving this island unscathed. Somewhere in the jungle, faint but deliberate, came the sound of clicking. Not one set this time. 2. Maybe more. Thanks for listening. Hit the like button if you really like this story, and don't forget to subscribe.